Today I'm continuing on with my oil pastel drawings, and I have the Faber-Castell oil pastels and these giant Paul Rubin oil pastels. They come in this little container, and I am going to be playing around with creating texture and blending the oil pastels. And my inspiration today is this gorgeous painting that's in a book that I have called, called Fashion Drawing in Vogue. I use the images in there a lot as inspiration. So I hope you guys join me as I get started and draw along with me. You don't necessarily need oil pastels. You guys can use anything that you have and just join me in drawing along using a reference and seeing what we can create. Let's get started. Okay, so this is Strathmore toned tanned sketchbook paper, medium surface. And I got this years ago, and it's obviously not my first choice, but hey, I have it. So I'm in the mindset of using what I have. And these are the oil pastels that I have. I have some Q-tips that I'm going to try blending with because I used my blending stump, and I probably should have just sharpened my blending stump, but I didn't. And I have gloves because I don't like using my bare fingers on oil pastels. I don't mind with other paints, but the oil pastels specifically, I don't know, I don't like the way they feel. This is the painting that I'm going to be referencing when I draw and try some different blending techniques. I like the background of this painting. I like that she's looking straight on, and I may play with the colors, but I feel like this is something we can all practice. And again, I always infuse my own style into my paintings. So let's see what we can create while practicing textures with oil pastels. And I find that the Paul Rubens oil pastels, these are really large oil pastels. I know they have smaller version, but these are the ones that I have. These are like much creamier than the Faber-Castell. So you can see the difference in size as well. Like these are huge, these are small. And I'm gonna try some different things. So let's see what we can do. The first thing I'm gonna do, normally I start drawing my images with a black marker or oil pastel just so that you can see it. But today I think I'm going to try with the brown because I do want to be able to blend it without there always being that dark black. So hopefully you'll be able to see the brown. Okay, so I'm going to use the brown Faber-Castell because it's going to be easier than these giant Paul Rubens markers. So I'm going to map out her face with the brown, and I really hope you can see it. I'm sure you can. Okay, we're just going to do like a U shape for her head. I kind of made it a little too big, so I kind of try to make it smaller. And then her neck comes down. And again, my goal today is to play with blending and textures. I am really just trying to outline the shape of what I'm seeing here without I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm creating my own look, I guess. You know, I'm just going to do it my own way. I want to thank everyone who's left comments yesterday on the video, and I'm going to be answering all the comments, but sometimes if I don't do my videos early in the day, then I miss out because the sun sets so quickly. Hopefully that'll change soon because summer is coming. Okay, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get her gloved hands in here, which would be great if I could because I am practicing hands, but we'll leave it for now. And she's got this hat that I love, so I'm going to just do a down, like a half circle because it's sort of coming down like that. She's got her hair that I'm just mapping out. Her hair, her face might be a little, I don't know, we'll see. And then her hat, it's this downward shape, and then it's sort of a shape like this. I'm really trying to focus on shapes more so than interpreting what I'm seeing. I'm really just trying to focus on shapes, and I'm sure I could play around with her hat. But we're gonna leave it for now. I know I didn't quite get this. It's probably too big there, but that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. And I think I'm going to put in just her eyes for now. I know she's got dark eyes too, so I'm just going to put that in there. And then she's got the 2 dots for her nostrils. So I'm just trying to do that, and her lips. So I'm just going to map that in there, and we'll see. Oh, and she's got some shadow going on here, and I'm actually going to put the shadow in. And I think what I'm going to do is, I think I have a lighter brown here, and I don't have a brown in my Paul Rubens, but what I'm going to do now is just try to shade this in a bit. And I'm not being too mindful with how I'm doing it. I'm just shading it in. And just going with that. And I think her hat, I'm going to lightly, I know it's darker here because that's where, and it probably should come out further. And I'm just going to I'm just coloring the whole thing in. Maybe I'll play with that after, and her gloves. So I'm putting her glove in there, and I'll get the shadows in after. Let's see. I have another color here that's a lighter tone that I think I'm going to just layer on top of the oil pastel that I already put on. And so I'm just layering it down. You can see here there's some lighter shades, but I'm really just practicing with layering it on and then blending it. And I'll just put a little bit on her gloves. I think she actually has some on the side of her hat here because there's like light. Light must be coming down here because you could see light here and here. So I'm just playing with that. And then this side of her face is lighter because there's some shadow here. There's even shadow. So I might actually put some of this shadow here because that's what she's got going on. She's got some shadow happening right there. And I'm just going to lightly put in her hair color. I'm just kind of keeping it the same. I know that it's a blondish color, but for now I'm going to keep it the same. And her lip, this is going to be hard with the way that this is. So I have heard some people, I might actually try this. I've heard that you can use one of these scraper tools. So I'm going to just take the red and take some off and see what I could do here to get her lip color in. Because this is more of a, ooh, I like that. This is more of a really soft oil pastel, especially compared to the Faber-Castell. I really like the way this the Paul Rubens went on with my little tool, and I think that looks really good. I like the skin tone here, but I don't really have any peachy colors for her skin tone, so I'm going to leave it for now. The other thing I want to practice doing is using this Q-tip and seeing if I can blend it in. You could blend your oil pastel with a Q-tip, and I really like the way this is looking for here. And I'm glad I used a brown instead of black because I didn't want that strong black color as I try to create this recreate, I guess, this painting in my own style. Now I'm just using the Q-tip, and you could use a blending stump, but I made the big mistake of not realizing that I should have like some kind of sandpaper sharpener for my blender because I don't really use blenders very often. I'll see if I can find another one. But the Q-tip works just as well. So if you don't have a blender and you have a Q-tip, it's working quite well. And now I'm going to blend in her hat because I know I made some mistakes with her hat. Luckily, if I blend it in, I could keep layering on top of it. And I'm not worried about perfection because this is just oil pastels and I'm playing with a new, art supply. And so there's no point in beating myself up for not being perfect with it. Okay. I kind of wonder if I should blend her eye in, but I do like that look. And I probably will want to make adjustments. I don't think I want to blend her lip in too much, but we'll just... I actually might want to add a little pink to it for her cheek. So take some of that, and I'm just going to put it on her cheek. For me, I like that. I also have a gray color in the Faber-Castell, and I'm going to try to put in some of the shadows in a gray color. There's some shadow under her neck. I'm actually going to try to do some of it on the side of her face. I'm actually going to go under her eye bit and maybe where her nose is. There's a shadow just cast right from this hat, the way it's on top of her. And there's a shadow down here. And I like the way that looks. I'm trying to look to see if there's any other. She's got like a darker, it's a little bit darker here, just the way the light is shining down. So that part will be a little bit darker. So I'm going to try to, oops, I think I got some black in there. Next thing I'm going to do is get back into my Q-tip and blend it. And I'm sad that that black came off from the marker. I mean, from the Oil Pastel, but I'm going to make do with what I've done. And I'm going to blend a bit more and see what I can do. That's all right, I guess. Let's see. Okay, well, I could probably put some white over it because there's a darker color here and her eyes are a little bit darker. Okay, so now I'm going to focus on this area. There's like darker on her hat, so a darker shade on her hat. And I'm wondering if I could use, again, I'm going to try this black color. And I'm just scraping a little bit. I scraped a little bit of it off. And I know it's a little bit darker, but I don't have another darker brown, so I'm going to just try to put it in there. And it goes down like that. She also has, like, I'm going to go right in. And there's, this is really, really a creamy, creamy color. And I'm just trying to, we'll see what I could do there. And there's a darkness here. I'm just trying to, here, look. There, I'm just scraping a little bit off, and I'm just really just playing around with what I have and seeing what I can create. Now, I know that I'm going to also, there's a darker line there, so I'm going to use a very gentle touch and just go over it like that. This is how I'm blending it, because this one is really creamy. And this is just how I'm going to blend it. Underneath her chin, there's a little shadow there. And then I think I want to get some of these darker lines here. And I think I will use the black because I used it up here, but I'm going to use the Faber-Castell, and I'm going to try to just come right out. And it's a little bit darker there. And there's a line there. And then I'm going to try to bring this one down too. She's got like a line curving down because it's showing, you know, wrinkles in the fabric. And I'm going to just try to be loose here. And it comes down, and then it's dark. And then there's wrinkles in the arm where her clothes are, you know, wrinkled, I guess. And we're going to go right with it. It's a nice dark color, and then we could see there's shadow, and then she's got some wrinkles here. And I'm going to just go right where her gloves are. And then there's these colors, so I'm just going to, I might use gray for that later. I might add a little gray there where these colors are falling in. Just add a little gray. And I kind of want to play with both blending and not blending. So now I'm just coloring it in and not overly blending. There's some more here. in here. And I kind of like that. I do want to get a little more color in her cheek. And I'm going to play with the Paul Rubens. Oh, I better wipe this off. I don't want to mess that up. Okay, I'm going to play with the Paul Rubens. I'm just taking a tiny bit off. And although she doesn't have color in her cheek, I'm adding my own spin to it. Color here. Under the chin there. I'm going to add a little color. And you guys know me. I want to add, look at this, giant. I want to add some flowers to her hat. Because why not? And then I'm going to add a little bit of green because that's what I do. And I kind of like that. I'm going to try to really get her eye in there. I may have to color in her hair. It's a blondish color. I like the way that these Paul Rubens go over the Faber-Castell. I kind of like the way it covers it. And I like if I press darker, you can really get some nice texture in there. Oh, look at that. Okay, so now I'm creating a little bit of texture, and I'm going to go off the script a bit and add a little more hair to her, sort of coming over her eyebrow and bringing it out a bit. I might add some white here and see what happens. I might add a little bit. I wonder if I could get it into the eye area if I just tap it. And again, the circle of her nose. I kind of like the way the white adds some real bold highlights, and it might even be pulling out some of the other colors, but I kind of enjoy that. Okay, now she's got these sort of wavy, this fabric is like a wavy line, and I might, maybe her jacket might be a little more, have a little more white on it. I'm digging the Paul Rubens. Smear it on there. And I might add a little more to her, to the side of her face. So this is my own spin on the painting. Now her hand is on a table here, or her lap. I'm guessing those are her pants. Maybe that's her jacket and that's her lap, but I'm going to not use that. And I'm wondering, maybe I will extend her hat out a little bit here on the left-hand side. And I might just do that and create a little more shadow there and here as well. And I'm just blending it in, and maybe here as well to make it less, I kind of like that. And now I'm going back in here, and I like the way it kind of smears with the really creamy Paul Rubens. And now I'm just kind of making a mess of it, but I like it. Okay, not too bad. Oh, I do have like a peachy tone. Look at that. Let's see if we can get some of this peachy tone in there. I'm gonna get her glove in a bit. And I'm going to keep it abstract. I'm not really even going to try to draw her hands, but I do kind of want to bring it in a bit. I'm kind of wondering what I want to do with the background, and I kind of think I want to just add some white there, pink in, and I might bring some of it down here just because I feel like it. I don't like all the crumbs on her. And I have my gloves. I wonder how the gloves work for blending it. Not really that well, but they're good for protecting your fingers. Oh, that's kind of cool. and just tap it on there. Playing around and I'm having fun. And honestly, that's the biggest thing when it comes to creating, is just to have fun with it and not get too wrapped up in the end result. Because if you get too wrapped up in the end result, like, I know I'm messing up her face here, but if you get too wrapped up in the end result, then you're not going to play with the intention of improving. So, and learning, and what do you like and what don't you like. And so that's what I'm doing here. And I'm not really thinking now. Now I'm just feeling like, what can I do to add to this? Blue, how that would look. I'm bringing some of the blue in to this lady's face. Maybe I'll do a bit of a darker blue here. And see if I could see what happens when I do that. And I also have a darker, I also have a darker orange that I might use for her hair to make her hair stand out a bit more. I don't know how this will work. And so now I'm just making this my own. I'm totally not looking at my reference photo anymore because it's taken on a life of its own. And I think I might add some white there. This is the final painting that I did with the oil pastels. I love all the different textures and colors, and I just played around, and I love messy art. I love the way it turned out. And the image on the left is really just an inspiration. You know, I took the inspiration and added my own spin on it using the few oil pastels that I had. And honestly, with the textures and blending and just overall feeling I get when I'm painting with them, I will definitely be getting some more oil pastels. I'd love to hear from you guys. I want to thank you so much for all your amazing comments and support. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Happy sketching.